Hello everyone, Andrew here, and for this week's Wednesday video, I'm going to be doing a video response to edt1138's latest Top 3 Tuesday, which asks, what are the top 3 items in your collection that you know you overpaid for, but you're perfectly happy with it? Yeah, I know I don't normally use the Wednesday videos to reply to, like, do video responses and things like that, but last week I wanted to do a video response on Wednesday, and it kind of didn't go exactly how I wanted it to, because I didn't get to actually do a reply. I kind of just went off topic and talked about all my favorite controllers. So I figured this week I would do the video response like I wanted to on Wednesday. And then we'll get back to normality next week where I'll just talk about random stuff. But yeah, this is an interesting one. The top 3 things that you know you overpaid for, but you're pretty okay with it. Because as people probably know, I mean, you don't get a really big collection by paying a full price for everything. I mean, obviously I go to thrift stores, and I look for deals on things like Craigslist, Kijiji, things like that. Yeah, I look for deals, because if I paid full price, I wouldn't have enough money to have probably like half of what I have. Because, I mean, I get some really good deals. I mean, a lot of my more expensive items, I've probably paid like a few bucks for. Probably getting them from either thrift stores or people who probably, I guess, don't know their value. And just looking to get a bit of cash and aren't really too concerned about exactly how much they get for it. But yeah, so basically, these are just going to be the top few items that I've actually paid quite a bit for, because I don't pay too much for a lot of things in my collection. I mean, it's very rare I'll pay like $100 or more for something, unless it's like a new console, but I'm talking about older retro stuff. Yeah, it's not too often I ever get up in that range, but all the things I show today are going to be things, the first thing I show is going to be I paid $100 for, and then it's going to be $200, and then we're going to end with $500. Is what I paid for the final thing. So, yeah, so these things I kind of overpaid for, but they're things I really wanted, so, in the end it kind of canceled out that I paid that much for them. But yeah, anyway, the thing we're going to start with, and it's kind of a whole bunch of things, it's really weird. This was one, I saw a an ad on the internet for it, like a local ad. So it said, there was some things that said, make me an offer, so I said, okay, I offer $100, and this was kind of when I first started, so I mean, I didn't know too much about what things were worth. I kind of did some research, but I kind of didn't. I thought 100 was really good, although it kind of started to get weird after like a minute after I said it, like, yeah, come right now, that's great. And then I got there, and I don't know, it just seemed like maybe I offered a bit too much to start with, and maybe I should have started a bit lower, because I could have got it for a bit less. But anyway, what I ended up getting for $100, to start off, was a Japanese Sega Saturn. So, I mean, I'm actually a really big fan of foreign consoles. So yeah, so for $100 I said, yeah, Japanese Saturn, not a bad deal. So it came with a RAM expansion, and it also came with, we have 2 of the gray Japanese Saturn controllers, and it also came with this thing. Ugh, heavy lifting. Came with this massive Japanese Saturn arcade stick. I mean, it's thick, and it is heavy as heck. So I got all of that for $100. So I mean, when I initially made that offer, I mean, this thing is like solid. It is just awesome. Yeah, so I mean, for $100, I thought that was a great offer. Because I mean, I thought this was probably worth way more than that. But still, it seems like I might have been able to get it for a bit less. There's like, just the way they were so excited, like, yeah, $100, that's amazing. Like, maybe I could have got it for like 50 or something, who knows. But the thing that really tells me that I clearly paid more than what they were like expecting, like I could have got it for much less, is that I got there, I bought this, I had already paid the $100, and then I noticed something, like, they hooked the Saturn up to like a big widescreen TV to show me that it worked, and they had another TV off into the corner with a Super Famicom hooked up to it, which is the Japanese Super Nintendo, as anyone who's been watching my videos will know. And I said, wow, that's really neat, and that's cool. And they're like, oh, really, you like it? You can have it for free. I was like, okay then, wow. Like, they must have really thought I was giving them way more than the Saturn and stuff were worth. If they just start giving me things for free, like, I don't know, like, did they feel sorry for me because I paid so much? I don't know. So, I looked over at the corner, and I ended up getting this Super Famicom. It's a bit yellow, and it came with the controller, and it also came with Super R-Type, so that was pretty cool. And then on top of that, it also came with one of those disc readers and ROM makers that I showed you in the Super Nintendo / Super Famicom video as well. And that's the one that you have to use the cord to hook it up to a separate floppy disk player And it also came with 2 cases of floppy disks. So yeah, I ended up getting all of that for $100. So I mean, it's kind of funny because I could have probably gotten the Saturn and stuff for less if I had offered less initially. Although the fact that they just started throwing all this Super Famicom stuff at me, I always find really hilarious. That's kind of one of my favorite purchases, just because of the way it ended up going. I mean, overall, I still don't think that the massive arcade stick and this Japanese Saturn, I don't think it was a bad deal for $100. And then they threw all this other stuff at me. Just the point is, I kind of overpaid for this one because I probably could have got it cheaper, but in the end, by paying more, I ended up getting a whole bunch of extra stuff. So it kind of worked out funny in that sense. But yeah, that is the number 3 on my list of top 3 things that I kind of overpaid for, although this one kind of really turned out well. So yeah, the arcade stick's really heavy. For number 2 and number 1, these things are actually so heavy that I can't even get them down to show you. Like, I'm going to have to actually move the camera around to show you. I could probably get number 2 down, like if I wanted to risk dropping it. But number 1, there's no way that it's getting in here for me to show you, and you'll see why in the end. But anyway, number 2, I'm going to move the camera so that you can see and do a bit of rearranging. Let's see, let's move some tables and stuff out of the way that I had stuff sitting on. Get that there. Alright, number 2. Let's see. So number 2, let's see, this is kind of yeah, it's hooked up to the TV at the same time. So I always like to see what I'm doing on the big screen. Number 2 that I paid a lot for, if I can move the camera back just a bit more, is the Vectrexes. So, let's see, my tripod kind of really sucks, so sometimes leans back. Let's see, how is this? If we could do that just a bit more without it sucking really bad. Come on. Cool. Okay, let's hope that stays. So anyway, my Vectrexes. So I have 2 Vectrexes in the box. This was actually the first one that I ever got. And it didn't come in the box, and its controller was actually really bad. So later, I was looking online again. I look a lot on websites like Kijiji and and Craigslist and things like that, to look for people who are selling things at good deals. So someone was selling 2 box Vectrexes for $200, and actually, the way I read the ad was kind of worded weirdly. It made it sound like 1 Vectrex was in the box, and 1 wasn't. But anyway, it was $200, and I needed a new controller anyway, and controllers go for like quite a bit actually. And overall, it never hurts to get another Vectrex, especially in the boxes. I love having things complete in the box. So I said, you know what, let's go check it out. And yeah, maybe I'll do it. One thing I should note is that the ad did specify that one of the Vectrexes didn't work. I mean, both of them are mint in the box. Has the plastic bags they came in, has instructions, styrofoam, absolutely everything. But one of them, that's so mint, it doesn't even look like it's ever been played. For some reason, doesn't work. I mean, maybe just like there's a loose wire or something. I actually haven't looked into it too much. But anyway, I ended up buying the 2 box Vectrexes. One of them is mint, perfect working condition, and one of them is mint, everything's in there, but for some reason the screen doesn't work. But yeah, in the end, and I know I've tried the brightness knob on the back too. That's one thing. When I originally read the ad, Vectrexes have a brightness because it's only like a black and white console. So I thought maybe they just don't realize to turn the brightness up. But I have tried that, and that is not the answer to this. But yeah, anyway, I ended up paying $200 for both of the box Vectrexes. One of them doesn't work, but it's all there, complete mint, and maybe I can do something to fix it. But anyway, I paid quite a bit for that. But overall, it's a purchase I don't really regret, because I mean, you rarely see box Vectrexes, and overall the console and then the like extra controllers and things like that, they're pretty expensive anyway. So I wasn't too worried about making that purchase, and overall I don't really have any regrets, because the Vectrex is really cool. I actually have quite a good library of games for it. It's a pretty funny console, and it's fun when friends come over and stuff like that, and you just play it. But overall, very neat. And yeah, they're both the same box. This one is just turned so that you can kind of see the description on the back, while this one is the actual front that you would have seen when you like looked at it in the store shelf. But yeah, so number 2 is 2 Vectrexes in the box for $200, one of which doesn't work, but still, I'm happy with it, and yeah. I know this camera angle is probably not turning out too well. I just wanted you to be able to see the Vectrexes. And you also have TurboGrafx 16 with the really, really happy 90s guy on there. It's pretty great. Anyway, last thing I want to show you. Let's see how I can do this here. Let's move this out of the way. Alright, so let me lift up the tripod here. It's kind of going to give you a view of the room. Although, let's see if I can jump over the couch. Not much has changed since I did my entire collection video. Things actually have gotten a bit cleaner. It's no longer Genesis games back there. I did a bit of organizing. Things still aren't as clean as I would like them to be. But I did since get this new sort of rack here to put all my Genesis and Master System games on, which is really helping out. But anyway, the last thing on my list. Here we are. That is, let me see if I can set this up nicely. I don't know, let me see, is this good? Nope, I am not in the picture. That is new, still. It's going to be hard to get everything. Anyway, my Neo Geo arcade machine, which had Metal Slug in the picture, as I'm sure that everyone saw. But yeah, this is, I paid $500 for it, and I know that's quite a bit, but they're not very easy to find in my area. I mean, I know, like, if you go online and stuff, you might even actually pay a bit more. Let me get some of the screen there too, so you can actually see the whole thing. But anyway, the Neo Geo, this is a 4-slot. I actually had a chance to pick one up for like $350 a few years before I got this one. So I actually got this one pretty recently. But yeah, I just missed out on it because I just sent like it was whoever got to the person to pick it up first got it, and I didn't get there fast enough. So unfortunately, I missed out on it. And I've always wanted one, so it was really disappointing. So then the next time I ever saw one, it was $500, and it came with 4 games. I mean, they weren't the greatest games, but still, I really wanted a 4-slot Neo Geo machine, so I picked it up. And yeah, I mean, it's just a great machine. I mean, friends come over, you play Metal Slug, you play Bust a Move, you play a whole ton of great games. I mean, it's lots of fun. So I have no regrets on buying it for $500. I mean, it's definitely a steep price, but I mean, it's a thing you buy once, and then you're just enjoying it forever. I mean, it's gonna need some work sometimes. It still needs some work. It needs a bit of a touch-up on the front here and stuff like that. Like, I could use a bit of a paint job. The metal panel here, it's not in mint shape. If I could ever get my hands on another one of those, I'd love to. But overall, I mean, at least since it's not in mint shape, I don't need to worry about my friends coming and, like, wearing their watches and scratching. I mean, no one wears a watch anymore anyway. I'm the only person who still wears a watch. But, yeah, anyway. I mean, yeah, the fact that the metal panel's not in mint shape, at least I don't need to worry about it getting wrecked anymore. I mean, just have fun with it, and you're not worried about it always being in mint shape. But yeah, that's my Neo Geo 4-slot MVS machine. Very fun, and yeah, even though I paid a steep price for it, like I said, it's just something, I mean, you can come play it anytime you want, and it's just an awesome piece to have. I mean, I think they're probably only going to get harder to find, so, I mean, eventually the price will probably go up, and like, $500, I could probably have gotten it cheaper if I had waited a bit, but I've just really wanted to get my hands on it, just so that I wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. It was like I said, I've always wanted one of these. And yeah, there we go, my Neo Geo 4-slot machine. Probably one of the most expensive things I've ever bought for my collection, but it's completely worth it, as I love this thing. These Neo Geo games are just awesome. But yeah, I believe that's it for this video, so let's see here. See if I can set this up well, and if I can sit on this couch while I talk. Let's see. Yeah, this is actually another couch in the other room that looks pretty much exactly the same as the one in that room, because they were part of a set, and then the smaller one's in that room, and then the bigger one is in this room. And then back here, we have Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympics, and Pokemon Platinum standees in the back. But yeah, so that's pretty much it, I think, for this video. I mean, like I said, I normally don't pay too much for things while I'm collecting, because I mean, if I pay a lot, it means that I have less money to spend on other things. So I'd rather just try my best to find a whole bunch of lower priced things, and then that way, that's what lets me get a lot more stuff. That's why I go around the thrift stores and things like that, to try and find those good deals. And I mean, there's other places and stuff you can go to look for good deals. I mean, like, having connections too. Like, I go to flea markets a lot. I like pretty much become friends and stuff with the people who work there, and then eventually they'll give you good deals and stuff too. As everyone helps each other out. Give them some trades sometimes at a good deal, and then get some good deals on some games. But yeah, overall, those are pretty much the three of the most expensive things I've paid for in my collection, not including like newer things like you have like PlayStation 3. I paid like $400 for a few years ago. But yeah. But anyway, yeah, I think that's it for this video. Like I said, just wanted to reply to edt1138 a bit earlier in the week instead of just like on a Saturday like I normally do. But next week things will be back to normal, and yeah. And thanks to everyone who replied about my my penned autograph video. I actually got quite a few views. I was surprised. Yeah, so I guess we'll see what happens there. I tried to frame it and fold it out, although still quite bent, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and hope to see you next time for something different. So thanks, and see you then.